In order to succeed in any endeavor, we need to appreciate the factors in play during that endeavor. In other words, unless we know how something works or acknowledge how something works, it becomes very difficult to succeed in it. For instance, if we're driving a car, we have to know if you put in the key and turn the key, the car will start. If you take it out of park and put it in drive, or take it out of neutral and put it in gear, then you can take off. If you turn the steering wheel one way, you'll go right, turn it another way, you'll go left, and so on. By understanding the process, we can get a car and drive from A to B. Lama Tsongkhapa, the guru of the first Dalai Lama, lived in the 14th century. He wrote in one of his quintessential works, the three principal aspects of the spiritual life. He writes in the wisdom training that without wisdom of both the infinite nature of being, in other words, emptiness or shunya in Buddhist language, and the conventional operation of things, without those two, then no matter what other spiritual qualities we collect, they're built, those are built on unfirm ground. And the conventionality he refers to, you should understand the cause and effect of samsara and nirvana. The cause and effect of samsara and nirvana. So these two terms, samsara and nirvana, in the Buddhist world, samsara means going in circles. Your life just passes and each day is sort of same old, and no matter what you change, nothing really changes inside. There's no real spiritual progress in your life. In fact, it either just goes round to round or even can degenerate. We see that in some people. The older they get, the stupider they get, rather than the more wise they get. And it comes from going round and round in circles and just burning out brain cells without much spiritual progress or psychological process or enlightenment progress. And the cause and effect of nirvana, he says those two things. So this brings us down to karma, cause and effect. And the idea, I think, that he's linking to, that Tsongkhapa is linking to in that passage or in that verse, is what's often known as the Four Noble Truths, or the Four Truths, the Four Reality Factors, as understood by the enlightened ones, by the Aryas, by the great transcended beings. Cause and effect of samsara being how unenlightened mind is prone to suffering, and suffering comes from causes of suffering being negative karma or negative action, and negative thinking or negative emotions. Samsara, the second set of the Four Noble Truths, Noble Truth of liberation or enlightenment, and what is the cause of that? Walking the path leading to enlightenment, which sometimes is referred to as the three higher trainings. Training in discipline, training in samadhi or meditation, and training in prajna, or transformation of the qualities of consciousness. Often translated as wisdom, but wisdom in English is not really what's referred to here. It's really referring to a quality of consciousness, a quality of presence, a quality of the way you posture yourself in relationship to experience, something like that. Well, we can extend those three, and the three become the so-called Noble Eightfold Path, right discipline and right livelihood and so on. right action, or right there, yang dakpa in Tibetan means, yang means natural, something like natural, and dakpa, a kind of a purity. Purity because it's aimed in a direction of enlightenment, something like that. So this contemplation of karma, cause and effect, for samsara, karma, cause and effect, for nirvana. And I think we see this come into Christianity when Christ gives the expression, you reap what you sow. So in this way, we can see that karma is talking about how our thoughts and our actions lead us to particular results. Mindfulness in terms of the dharma or the reality factor of karma, cause and effect. Two sides of it come into this. So the first side is that the present moment is a product of past, and the future is a product of the present. So it means everything that we have or that's happening in our life right now is kind of a flow of the causes and conditions of everything that's happened so far in the past, in this and previous lives. And how we manage that now determines the shape of what goes on in the future. So, in other words, it's a little bit like we're rowing a boat on a powerful river. We do control the oars. Now, where we find ourselves at any given moment is a product of where that river carried us in the past and how we steered our boat on that river in the past. So that's kind of our responsibility. And in terms of where it goes from here, we're stuck with what we're given from the past. As the expression goes in the Western world, we made our bed, sleep in it, something like that. In the Buddhist world, in terms of karma, we brought ourselves to where we are now. So what do we do from here on becomes the big issue. So the awareness or mindfulness practice of karma has those two sides. So I think one benefit of looking at where we are now, and it's a product of our own unfolding. So that word is often used, unfolding, like a lotus or a flower. The condition it's in now is determined by the soil the seed was put in and what fertilizer went there and how much sunlight and how much water and so on. So that's where we are now. We might have many good conditions, we might have many difficult conditions, but anyway, that is what it is. And I think one of the great benefits of that understanding of karma is that it empowers us with self-responsibility. We don't pass the buck anywhere else or to anything else. And in terms of the future, then wherever we are, we still are floating or flowing on that river. We still hold the paddles or the oars of the boat in our hands. So what we make of what we have becomes a great question, a great issue at hand. So this is put down as a preliminary, because in order for us to better our lives, we have to understand the processes that go into making our lives. And those processes are accepting what your situation is at the moment and understanding that everything is in a state of transformation. The river is still flowing. You still control the paddles. You can take those paddles and direct your life in the direction you want it to go. How do we do so? Primarily through the power of spiritual practice or effort or whatever you want to call it. And often put in terms of the three lakbilabasum, or the three shiksha, the three higher trainings, the training in ethics. By living an ethical life, our life becomes more clear and more relaxed and more manageable, if you will, more gives us the firm ground on which we can apply the other two trainings, which is meditation or samadhi, cultivation of samadhi, and cultivation of higher awareness or a higher consciousness or wisdom quality. Often these three are likened to the three parts of the house. Ethics is the foundation. On strong foundations can come good meditation, which is like the walls, and on strong foundation and strong walls, we can put a roof that will withstand windstorms, rainstorms, and so on and so forth. So the contemplation of karma, I think, is one of the great liberating factors of the teachings of the Buddha. That essentially our enlightenment becomes our responsibility. For that reason, the Buddha says in one of the passages, you are your own savior, or you are your own condemner. You want to save yourself, look to the three higher trainings. Grab karma by the tail. He didn't say that, but grab karma and take charge of the process of the flowing of the river of your life, and do so by practicing higher ethics, higher meditation, and higher wisdom. Or you could say spiritual ethics, spiritual meditation, or spiritual focusing, strong samadhi, which means sort of strong mind focus or mind clarity, and wisdom, which means a kind of a higher consciousness. So different texts discuss karma in different kind of ways, but for me, the most important was this twofold way. Whatever is there now has fallen in your lap, sort of like a wave of all of your past energies washing up on shore. So what you have now is what you so far developed with your life or your lives, or however you want to look at it. And if you take charge of that, as Buddha put it, you become your own savior. You become your own condemner. Engage in the spiritual pursuits, in other words, higher ethics, higher meditation, and higher wisdom. You'll go towards happiness and enlightenment. Instead of ethics, living a sloppy lifestyle. Instead of meditation and focus, just having a confused, apathetic state of mind, and instead of wisdom, the ways of insensitivity, then you become your own condemner. Such is the advice of the Buddha and the Buddhas past, present, and future. Bye-bye.
항해하니 흐른 산등 흩들어오던 수밀지지 하르그덧 하우틀러 탑질라서니 무릉골리워스 멜리리 팅큰 텔리리 팅큰 바이님이 기띠기친 유르도 들지게 이띠리 테리 힝우금 보러 흥가에다 노타게 민데